Sort of look back at the season and think about all the things that went well and things that maybe need improvement. What are some of the main points that you're taking away from the season?
First of all, good afternoon. And as I said all along, I never was going to speak during the season. We're now at the end of the season, so I can go back and reflect. So definitely just very proud of the work of everybody, the staff, the players, the organization. It's been a great year in regards to the work that everybody put in. It had different moments. We have to go back to the beginning, the first two matches, which we struggled, and then we felt that we found a way that any moment we're going to find a win. Went through those 15 matches, and then at the end made a run for the playoff. Got to a final. Unfortunately, we couldn't lift the trophy at the end. But when you reflect, there was so much that happened during the season. I think the best part is how together everybody got to a point in which we all believed that we could make it all the way where we got into. So extremely proud, and now even more hungrier to come back next year and give even more that we gave to try to continue to have another good season.
And for Gavin or Gio, I know Gavin, last year you sort of laid out some positional targets during the offseason, so I was wondering what are sort of the positional targets for you guys this offseason, and what's your plan positionally, or any more information you can give on how you might fill that DP spot that you have?
So to start with, we are looking to strengthen the group, and without getting into positions and specifics, I think last year it was a little bit more obvious. This year, I think the way the group performed, the way the group is united, I think it's very fair to them and for us as a staff to go about our work and actually state on the record that we are looking to strengthen in 3 to 4 positions, and that does provide more competition for places. And when we start to look at the DP slot, we have that becoming available. If we were to move Lucas Milano into a TAM spot, which would happen should we sign a DP, then we're able to strengthen the group again. And what I would say is we have several ways in which we can use that DP slot. We're evaluating several different ways right now and going through the process. And again, what I would say is that DP has to come in and help us win games, and we will see where we end up. But again, positionally, it'll be a player that makes a difference.
And you said 3 or 4 positional targets, but nothing. Is that what you said?
We'll look to add 3 to 4 starting caliber players that provide competition for places.
And then I just wanted to ask, Alvis Powell said basically goodbye on Twitter today, and obviously there's been reports that you guys are on the verge of trading him to Cincinnati. Can you give me an update on that?
Yeah, I think in regards to Alvis, the first thing that we have to come to terms with is that he's grown up with the club. He came to the club when he was 18, he helped us win an MLS Cup, and he helped us challenge for an MLS Cup this year, and over the years he's been known as one of the better right backs in the league, and he's a tremendous person, and he's grown a lot as a player and especially as a human being. Gio and I sat down with Alvis this week, and we discussed the likelihood of Alvis not coming back to the Portland Timbers, and it was a very emotional meeting. It was very upsetting, and I think everyone walked away from it just realizing how special Alvis is as a person and how much he means to the group in the locker room. And it's probably one of the hardest meetings I've ever had to be a part of. And on the flip side, I will say that there is no MLS trade form signed, and that while the likelihood of him being back in Portland next year is slim to none, there is no trade finalized.
This question is for Gio, but if Gavin wants to chime in as well, that'd be great. I'm wondering if you've rewatched the final back. When did you do it? What was that experience like? What were the emotions? Did your perception change at all as you watched back? And if you haven't, when do you plan to do that?
No, I already saw it on the plane coming back. So, I just wanted to make sure that I was fresh in my mind to look at the pictures and everything that happened, and I had a chance to analyze many different things. I just think that first of all, again, I repeat the same thing that I said. The players gave everything, and that's for me the most important part. I think it was a game of moments. They took advantage of their moments. Our moments didn't go our way. And at the end, I thought that we showed that we deserved to be in the final. and I think that was crucial as well, for our part. Definitely being so close and not being able to lift the trophy is not something that makes you feel happy. When you analyze the entire season, then we feel very proud of the accomplishment that the guys were able to do.
And then you did well in the postseason. In the regular season, you finished 5th. What do you have to do, given that you had the success in the postseason, what do you have to do in the regular season to be able to compete for a shield, compete with the Atlantas and the New York Red Bulls?
I think, first of all, is continue where we left from. Just continue to build from this good base now that we have. I think that's the first thing. Is now how we can get better, is how we can just improve some certain things. But at the end, I think also during the season we have very good moments, and I will go back and see some of the matches, New York City and others per se, and I thought that our guys, had very good moments also, not only in the playoff but also during the season. Definitely, continue to build from that point, and the good thing is that the group is very together and hungry to continue to work even harder.
Ned, I have a couple questions for you. From the outside, people that aren't familiar with how clubs are structured, or this one, it's a little confusing for people to know where Coach Savarese's job starts or where Gavin's job starts and where yours begin. How would you describe where those boundaries are and where your contributions are within the group?
Yeah, I think each club is unique and each club is different. Certainly Portland is unique in its own way. I think for me a big part of it is when we sit down and try to look at the roster construction, not just short term but long term. We sit down and identify positional profiles that would interest the club. So that's really where the scouting process and player acquisition process begins. And then it's a long filtering process. It takes many hours to look through different players that could be available, and not just players, but people that make sense for our market as well. And it's something that we've relied on the past couple of years as well. And so I think the most important thing for me was there's a very strong process that was in place before I came to Portland. We were able to add additional staff, and really I think we've been able to build on the foundation that was here originally. And so we need to continue to do that to be successful, and I think we have the right people to do that.
When you look at other front offices in the league, you see other former players there, but they've had a little bit more distance from the field than you have. As objectively as you can look at it, what do you think about the speed with which you've ascended to the title you are at right now?
I think it's different for each person, right? And each club maybe values people differently. I think that it was a slow, steady growth for myself. I think it was I was fortunate, to be honest with you, to be able to come in and be under somebody that has so much knowledge, and experience. It was very, very important for me because I think sometimes in this business things are just thrown at people too quickly, and they don't have the time to learn about the different layers of the club. So I think over the past 2 years it's been a good progression, and it's one that I have to continue to develop.
Zach?
Ned, more about your new role. How is it going to allow you to work more with the academy and developmental sides with the club, and what are you looking to accomplish in your first year in this role?
Yeah, I think this is a club that has shown that we can be successful with our scouting and recruitment. And as you start to look at the youth landscape across our country, there's a lot of different academies that are going out and not just finding the best talent within their homegrown region, but across the country. That's something that we need to rely on as well. We're making a big investment to try and bring in and also develop some of the better prospects in our country. And really for me, I think that we need to continue to do a good job of that. In terms of impact or what steps I'd like to make most in the first year, I think, as I said before, for me it's not just a line has been drawn and I started one job and I'll start another. I think it's to continue to grow and learn, and there's many things still to learn. But at the same time, I've always said to continue to put the club in a position to be successful year in, year out, but also make decisions that make sense long term.